Okay, let's take it from here.
So I just want to say tonight at the 5th anniversary, we wanted to honor those who really have made diversity and inclusion an integral part of their corporate or their institution and one of the priorities. Inclusion and diversity happens because somebody is committed to making that happen, and it often starts in the office of the CEO. I heard a wonderful quote that says, "A champion is a person who enriches the sport by their presence and leaves it better for having played in it." Well, we have a CEO of our state who is that kind of champion. He has made diversity and inclusion an essential part of his professional and personal life. Social justice. And I just want to say that if you look around this room, if you look around his cabinet, and you look around all of the things that he has done all of his life, professionally, has always had inclusion and diversity. We are so humbled to honor you for leading our state. Thank you.
Wow, look at that. Colette, thank you very much. It's really quite beautiful, and I hope to become the man you described. I want to first say, I hope you each, before the evening, come up and get a chance to stand at this podium, even once they turn off the microphone, because the view from here is beautiful. And the amazing aggregation of talent here represented is a thing to behold. And I think it is true of every one of the honorees tonight, in fact I know it's true, that we have imagined rooms like this in the places where we have worked, and have worked with you and others to help create rooms like this in our own workplace, and more to the point, in our own lives. So I hope each of you come and have a chance to stand here and just be humbled and amazed and encouraged by the range of talent we know exists in every community in the Commonwealth, and the potential and possibility to grow good things and a great future by connecting this talent not just to us but to each other. And I'll just end by saying, as a word of congratulations to my fellow honorees, a story some of you have heard me offer before about an experience I had when I was about 15 or 16 years old at home in Chicago on school vacation, when I ran to catch a bus and I was late for where I was trying to get. And I ran down the street and I got to the bus stop, and the bus rolled up, and I jumped on that bus just as it was getting there, and off we moved to the next stop. I reached in my pocket. They still had coin boxes in those days. I know I sound like I used to travel by a buggy and they used to have coin boxes. And I reached in my pocket and I realized then, only then, once the bus was moving, that I didn't have enough money for the fare. And I stood there looking ridiculous. And the bus driver looked me in the eye and he says, "Sit down, son." And he pointed to the seat closest to the door, and I knew that I was going to get it. He was going to light me up for trying to beat the Chicago Transit Authority out of their fare, and then put me off at the next stop. And I started to explain I've been away in Boston at school. I hadn't realized the fare had gone up. I was in a hurry. I was so sorry. And he turned from the road and he looked at me and he cased me over the way people who deal with the public can size you up in an instant. You know? And he turned back to the road and his expression softened. And he said, without looking at me, he said, just pass it on, son. Just pass it on. A very simple but profound act of grace. But that taught me a lesson which has been behind my own interest in the kinds of connections represented in this room. For everybody else who has been blessed like me, every one of the honorees, they are about passing it on. For everybody else in this room who has been blessed like us, you need to be about passing it on. The question is what we do right now, in our own time, that's going to leave things better for those who come behind us. If each of us does that in our own time and in our own way, the future is bright indeed. God bless you all. Thank you.
We are honoring John Walsh, who is the chair of the Massachusetts Democratic Party. Because 7 years ago, when a younger, less gray Deval Patrick still handsome though, became the Democratic nominee. He knew that this was a different kind of candidate in look, in feel, and he embraced the governor. He has been working hard to make the Democratic Party much more diversified. I went to John's office last fall, and when I walked in there, he had young people, he had Asians, he had Latinos, women, men, every rainbow was represented in that room. And I want to say that tonight, John, we are honored to honor you because you are leading by example. Maybe you can teach the other party a thing or two about inclusion.
Don't teach them anything.
Colette, thank you. As I get started thinking about talking here, I know everyone is very excited that Deval Patrick is here. No one more so than me. And you think it's so exciting because, of course, he's a very busy guy. He has lots of things that he could be doing right now. But he makes the time and takes the time at some serious personal sacrifice to make sure he's at things like this. But on behalf of myself and the future honorees, I want you to appreciate the sacrifice we're making to be here. I personally am violating one of the basic rules of my existence. Never get on the same speaking program as Deval Patrick. And for my fellow honorees, I'm happy to buffer for a few minutes so you don't have to. I want to thank you very much, Colette. I'm honored and moved by this. And I know we're here to celebrate progress. But I am very happy to see there are no mission accomplished banners hanging around here. No, it's really true. Because there has been progress. In Massachusetts, we should celebrate the political progress of a redistricting committee that has increased the number of minority-majority seats in Massachusetts by double. That's progress. We should celebrate not only the election of the first African-American governor, but of candidates and elected officials throughout this Commonwealth who have been elected in that time. The diversity and strength of them, we should celebrate that too, and many of them are here tonight. I hope you're also going to celebrate the opportunities that are right on the horizon and recognize them explicitly in this special Senate election and what flows from it. And in 2014, whatever version of Deval Patrick dominoes you're imagining, as we have an open governor's seat, an open lieutenant governor's seat, and then the theories go on and on, maybe a number of constitutional officers, congressional seats, legislative seats, and municipal elections. I want you to consciously think about that opportunity that exists just over the horizon. And while we're here to celebrate the progress, I would be making a mistake to not take a moment to talk with you about how much work there is to do. We are in the midst of a special U.S. Senate election. We have two great candidates in the Democratic Party, three lousy candidates on the other side. Is that I'm sorry. It's nonpartisan. I'm sorry. But I want to tell you that as this field formed, and not one woman or person of color even kicked the tires about running, we have work still to do.
Yep.
Yeah, we do.
I understand how tough a quick statewide race is, but the fact that we have not yet achieved that. As I mentioned, there's an open governor seat and lieutenant governor, and depends on what.
Not yet.
Not yet. I know that. That's a key point, right? That's good. In 2014, there is an open governor, lieutenant governor, and depending on how you think this may play out, treasurer, attorney general. I think the Republicans will be back after this seat and congressional seats.
I'm ready.
Will we find ourselves, as that race is going on, with no women or people of color contesting that? I want you to think about it, because I appreciate the talent that exists in this room. There are statewide candidates among you. Some of you are in office already. And I know when you get in office, you nourish that, right? And then you sort of need a more guaranteed path because you've got something, and celebrate that something. And there are people here who are not elected yet. There's more Deval Patricks in this room and in this Commonwealth who could make the step from talented person to elected official at every level. If we are not going to recognize the work that is to be done, in 3 years or 4 years, I don't want to be looking back with you and say, oh, remember 2012? That was a great time. And we'll tell our rocking chairs, telling stories about all the progress we made back then. But there are opportunities right now in a coordinated campaign for candidates and staff and consultants and other people and community organizers to step forward and take their place in the power structure of Massachusetts. You should be filling those spots.
Yes, sir.
I'm particularly grateful that Colette mentioned Rosie Gonzalez, because Rosie is our finance director, and I just understood everybody got in for free, so you may have. I just want you to know I'm very proud to say tonight for the first time publicly, for the 2013 Massachusetts Democratic Party's coordinated campaign, we have an explicit campaign in writing for communities of color. We've never done it before. We're here in this race. It incorporates 13 cities, 7 staffers. We need your help. And by the way, we're going to be asking for it because we have a great event coming up in May. I want you to know, as we look to the future, celebrate this progress, and see the opportunities ahead, I am not going to be sitting down and just cherishing this award, and I'm not going to let you either. Thank you very much.
Our next honorees, EMC, do business in 90 different countries around the world with many different cultures and many different languages. And as I said, diversity and inclusion happens deliberately and intentionally. So the chairman and CEO, Joe Tucci, has made diversity and inclusion one of the top priorities at EMC. And Jackie was one of the first people to embrace supporting Get Connected, because she said, but I'm competing with Chicago and New York and with DC. They don't want to come to Boston. So I have to help support a venue so that I can say, this is what you can do when you are here in Boston, to connect with others. So I want to acknowledge Joe Tucci, ML Krakauer, and Jackie Glenn for leading by example. Thank you.
So Colette, first of all, thank you very much. And on behalf of the 60,000 men and women around the globe at EMC, along with my co-pilot, Jackie Glenn, all of the EMCers that are here today, and Joe Tucci, who sends his regrets. He really had hoped to be able to be here with us today. I want to thank you very much for the recognition and the award. I also want to take the opportunity tonight to both applaud and congratulate Get Connected on the anniversary, on the 5th anniversary here of the organization. When I think about the vision and mission of Get Connected, it is awe-inspiring. Networking, sharing, mentoring, volunteering, just to name some of the great outcomes of Get Connected. It really is an engaging and inspiring vision and mission. So I want to thank you for the leadership. I want to congratulate you. And again, we're very humbled by the award. Thank you very much for the recognition. Thank you.
I just want to say that EMC and our 60,000 employees, thank you, Colette, for all that you've done for us. And a lot of people have asked me why we decided to be one of the first people on board. And that's because there's a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons that we recruit young professionals to Boston, and we really want to keep them here. And I had written something about, it says it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village to build a diverse organization, and Colette has done it so well by helping EMC to maintain our population of diverse employees here in Boston. So Colette, I want to thank you, and we accept this award, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
And tonight we actually have the chairman and CEO of one company and the president and COO of that company. And that would be Eastern Bank. Yeah. Eastern Bank is a leader in diversity and inclusion. And it starts at the top with Rich Holbrook. And many of you in this room know Bob Rivers. He has been at almost every Get Connected. And so I would like to invite both Rich and Bob up to the podium. And Rich has been helping me give out the awards.
Well, thank you, Colette, and congratulations on this landmark anniversary. It is, as you mentioned, as a Get Connected veteran, I can vouch for over the years, this group has evolved and grown and become so much more powerful. It really is a testimony, really, Colette, to your legacy here in Boston. Congratulations. Rich and I are really honored to be recognized in the company of such esteemed honorees. We really are very, very humbled by this. We engage in this work really not only because it is the good and right thing to do, but also because it's a business imperative. And we know that those that don't engage in this work with enthusiasm and for the right reasons are going to get left behind.
Yes.
As in all things, we get a lot of help in this work, and we're very fortunate, and that really starts with our board. Several of whom are actually here, in addition to, of course, our chairman, Rich. Juliet Mayers, one of our fellow honorees this evening. Juliet has just joined our board. Another fellow board member, another fellow honoree, Phyllis Barajas, also a member of our board. If you're wondering if there's a linkage with coming to Get Connected, and finding people for your board? There is one. And of course, last but not least, of course, Colette. And both Colette and Phyllis serve on our nominating committee for our board, and they've been very instrumental in helping us make our board so much better than it ever has been, and has really helped further us in this work. So again, Colette, thank you so much for everything you've done for us. We really appreciate it.
Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is one of our first sponsors, recognize that people who come to this country didn't leave or check their habits or their language or their nuances at Logan Airport. In the healthcare business, you have to have cultural competence. Juliet Mayers has been a leader in marketplace diversity for almost 3 decades. She looks like she's 12. But she leads their multicultural marketing, and they're one of the only companies that actually has a department that's designated with multicultural marketing.
Thank you, Colette, and thank you for not having us go right after the governor and the chairman. I was getting a little nervous here. So let me just say thank you. I'm honored to represent Andrew, who, as Colette mentioned, wanted to be here tonight but couldn't. But thank you on behalf of Blue Cross, of our 3,500 associates here in the Commonwealth, and our 2.8 million members. You know, diversity and inclusion is something that starts at the top and runs deep at Blue Cross, whether it's for our associates, our internal associates and programs, to ensure that everybody can really bring themselves to work every day and can contribute at the highest level each and every day. We spend a lot of time at Blue Cross focused on that, and I think are making great progress, but there's still work for us to do. From our internal programs to our external programs, and Juliet can talk much more eloquently than I can about the work we're doing in our multicultural space to ensure that all of our members really can understand and take advantage and avail themselves of the right care in the right place at the right time to ensure the health and well-being of themselves and their families. So on behalf of Blue Cross and Andrew Dreyfus, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jason, and thank you, Colette. Colette Phillips is just absolutely amazing, and I want to congratulate you on reaching this milestone for Get Connected. When there was nobody else there with you, you saw the vision and implemented it, so congratulations to you. I also want to thank my darling husband, whose birthday is today. And I also want to thank Andrew Dreyfus, who has led by example, and also Jason Robart and Tim O'Brien, who are the internal executive sponsors. And certainly last but not least in the thank yous is I want to thank the multicultural ambassadors, many of whom are here today. If you are here, just say, yeah! Yeah! There we go. Send us some new ambassadors. But these are the people who go out and represent us in the community, at business forums, and help to enhance our brand as well as help to bring our healthcare vision to life. So I thank you so much for your support, and thank you all for being here. I also want to end by saying one last thing. You know, it's easy to jump on the diversity bandwagon and multicultural bandwagon when things are going well, or to check the box. It's not so easy when the economy is not doing well, and a lot of people jump ship and withdraw their support. And I have to say I'm very proud to work for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts, who has sustained its commitment throughout the difficulties and throughout the changes, and I think that's what makes us different. So thank you all very much for this award.
Konnected is an organization that is about the same age as Get Connected. Phyllis Barajas had a vision, and the vision was that she wanted to develop Latino leadership, recognizing that Latinos are the fastest growing segment of our population. And so she created this organization that is committed to mentoring and advancing Latinos, mid-level Latinos in the workplace. So Phyllis, we honor you for leading by example, with no budget to start with, just a vision. She went out and raised the money, created this nonprofit, and is doing amazing work.
Just a little bit about Konnected. As Colette mentioned, we are focused on the rising Latino demographic, and there will be a quiz later. The purpose of Konnected is we are focused on, now pay attention, the rising Latino demographic and the nexus between that and the sustainability of the U.S. economy and our position as global leaders. So think about it, come and see us later. I'll tell you what all that means. So again, thank you for this honor. I'm very proud of Konnected. We recognize that we want to change the narrative about Latinos in the United States, in Boston, and nationally, that we're more than all of the negative stereotypes that are out there. So if anybody's connected with Konnected, would you please be kind enough to raise your hand? We have people here that are mentors, mentees, etc., sponsors, Easter. All of the honorees, by the way, are sponsors and mentors and have sent people to Konnected. So 100% of the honorees have participated. I'm honored to be affiliated with those organizations as well. So thank you and congratulations, Colette.